Hello, beautiful beings. Let's talk about parenting. In the early morning of April 26th, I stayed in bed longer and didn't judge myself from doing it. I took my phone from the living room and brought it back with me to bed. I was lying there, checking my mails instead of meditating. I opened my messenger and read a long conversation of my two dear friends. We have our group in Messenger. One friend was sharing how sad she was about the situation of her daughter in the Philippines. She shared how her mother was being irrationally strict to her daughter. The words that her mother spit felt like cuts from 1,000 swords. All my friend can do was advise her daughter to just understand and have more patience. I felt the ache while reading. Suddenly, there were back flashes of my childhood. I wasn't an easy child. I was not as obedient like my cousins. I spoke my mind and whatever I felt, you would see it on my face. Pretending and holding my emotions are not really that easy for me, and it got me in trouble every time. You see, in the Philippines and in other Asian countries, hierarchy is practiced. Whoever is above has the power. The same with parenting. Parents are above and the children are below. So the children have no right to speak his or her mind when being disciplined, or else it will be disrespectful. The truth is, I got some of the ways how I was brought up to my daughter. She's 4 years old now. But even when she was 3, she can say things that would make you think she was being disrespectful. Most of the time, I know she was just being a strong-willed 3-year-old, nothing personal. But there are times I felt I was being attacked. That is just because in the Philippines, that was how one feels if his or child speaks up. When a child speaks her mind while being disciplined, it just means that the child is bad. Asian parents have expectations, and if not met, you're not good enough. Asian parents tend to recall what you have done in the past. Generally, most Asian parents use negative reinforcement in disciplining their kids. The truth is, if I'm not conscious enough, my being an Asian parent comes out. Sometimes my daughter did something she was really proud of, and I will just say, cool, or good, passively. This is because I was busy with something else, or I thought, if I will praise her all the time, she may depend on it and won't do her best without it. There was also a time that for 3 days straight, she has not been eating all the food on her plate. So I implemented what I experienced and I learned from my childhood. I will say, you should eat all your food because many kids are starving. Some kids even find food through the garbage. I will also say, you must eat all the grains of rice or else it will cry. Another example was when I was telling dear hubby that it would be nice if dear daughter will be a dentist. A time when I told him that we should make sure she will be really good at math. That was me being an unconscious parent. I have expectations for my daughter. If not met, I get disappointed. And I was unconsciously planning her future for the future I've been wanting for myself. Many of us parents do this. Talking about expectations, just last year, I decided to be more of a conscious parent. The turning point was when dear hubby traveled out of the country for his work. I was alone with dear daughter, and the days were tough. You see, my priority was different back then. My first priority was to build the career that I wanted, related to calligraphy. I practiced a lot. Even in the weekend I wrote or busy myself with something. Most of the time was my dear hubby who mostly played with our dear daughter. She was used to having her father around, giving her the 100% attention, and she was not a fan of me. When dear hubby was away, it was one of the most challenging days I had with her. She was in the shower room, playing with water on the sink, and I told her to already stop it because we are wasting water. She was pissed and told me she only likes her papa and mama can go away. I took that personally. I went to my room to breathe and tried to keep it together. About 5 minutes I came back. The water in the sink was overflowing. The floor was wet. The plastic container below the sink where I put the laundry soaps and cleaning products was filled with water. I got so angry that all I could do was cry. I cried in front of her, asking why was she doing that. I reminded her how she was been destroying things, that she doesn't listen, and that mom is really angry. She cried too and asking for her papa and telling me to go away. While I was cleaning the mess, I was thinking how bad I was as a mother, that she hates me and that we will never be close, that all she could hear from me was how disappointed I was to her. I have a flash like a film in my head how our relationship falls apart, that I will be an old lady and her daughter will never come to visit. I was crying so much. Then I was analyzing how we came from that moment. I cried even more when I realized that my priorities and plans with my calligraphy makes me the uninvolved mother, that I should maybe give up doing calligraphy. Why must I choose between the two? I finally dried the sink floor in the container, and so I have decided that my relationship to her is more important than my career. I went to her and told her Mama was hurt of what she said, that I was sorry and I will do better, and of course that I love her. She cried and says sorry too. Talking about my career plans, I set a day to do calligraphy full time, and it was for the year 2021. I decided not to pursue that anymore. I decided to take it slow until she's old enough to understand why her mother needs to work even at home. I decided to give her quality time she needed, to be present. The next day I was listening to a video on how to deal with a difficult child positively, how to be patient and more, that could help me a better mother she deserves. I implemented what I have learned. Even when she tells me painful things, I tell her I love her, despite of her being difficult. I was also lucky enough at that time that I was working in a kindergarten where I had a co-worker that I respect and adore. She was a good model to me. Her patience, the way she talks, her passion to her work as a teacher was impeccable. Not only her, but also others at work. I was learning while working with them. I practiced what I learned from work and from the videos that I was listening to. I implemented those, and only within a week, she was already telling me she loves me so. Gave me lots of kisses, and her hugs were so tight. That week, I have proof that any relationship that is breaking or was broken will always be revived. I am not perfect. I sometimes still forget and fall into being the unconscious parent. But at the end of the day, to have a good relationship to my daughter is an important matter. I still do calligraphy. I decided not to give it up because this was also something very special to me. To take it slow is what's necessary at the time being. My progress may not be as fast as I want it to be, but it is all worth it. Being parents is not easy. It's a job that has no retirement. Regardless of, we must never let the hardships of it to make our children pay for it. We should be always kind to our children. Our words can empower them or kill their confidence. Remember, your reaction to any circumstances in life is a reflection of yourself. That could be the reflection of the unresolved pain from the past, and we should try not to bring that up to our children. They need us to guide them, not to take control. They need us to uplift them, not to discourage them. They need us to feel loved and wanted. Let them make mistakes. Let them speak their minds. Let them explore and get to know themselves. Let them know that with you, they are safe to be who they are and become who they want to be. Remind yourself that your job for eternity as a parent is to love them. The rest you can retire from. If you are a parent, accept that we are not always right and that we have a lot of rooms for improvements. In parenting, our children are included. What I mean by that is that you and your children are in their learning process since the very beginning. There is no hierarchy. If you have a difficult parent, forgive them and understand that they have their own battles inside. And like any other wars, there are casualties. Unfortunately, in unconscious parenting, the first casualty are the children. We won't be able to control parents, but we can always control how we react. Before ending this, I just want to say that yes, we birth our children in this world, but they are not ours to own. They have their own life to live. Once they can manage life by facing their fears, living life in a pathological positivity, and are fulfilled despite of the circumstances life has to throw them, then it is already a success to you as a parent. Thank you so much for listening from the very beginning until the end of this video. I wish you all the best in life, as well as all the relationships you are in. Have a wonderful day until next time.